The movie begins when the natural air and oxygen on Earth turns into gas. This air makes people have to live in underground shelters for hundreds of years. Now we will go back to the events and see the first scene in the movie. We see a meeting of the United States of America, and it warns people of a disaster. They say that gas will not spread in the air, but the President of America supports them. He promises to help them build underground shelters for the benefit of the population. These shelters will contain the largest number of people. After many years, we see that all the people in America died due to lack of control over the situation. The pollution of the air is complete. This the radar to see if there is any improvement in the air or not. Then we see that he gives the papers to the car written in which the tasks that must be done today. Car is working on the radar and he is working on the car's operation. The first thing he does is go and test the radar to see if there is any improvement in the air or not. Then we see that he gives the papers to the car and he writes down first he tests the radar to see if there is any improvement. Then we see that he gives a paper to car with the tasks he has to do. Car gets annoyed and says you have to help me. Car asks him to play rock paper scissors. If car wins, he will help him. And he wins. They divide the work and each of them does an important task. The doctor says that the patient is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in a state of mind, and the doctor says that he is in. All the devices were okay and the situation was under control, and Car said everything was okay, and they talked and Eva appeared again and she said, Car, get me out of the condom capsule, I want to be next to you. And he said, no, not now, wait. Barrow asked Car, who are you talking to? And Car replied, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm testing the capsules. Then he went back to the main room and Car was looking for a way to clean the air on the floor. Barrow said, there is no way we can get out of the cell, we must surrender and stay here until we die, because if we stay here for a whole century no one will ask us about it. Barrow takes out the chessboard and starts playing to have fun. When it's night, Barrow goes to the bathroom and asks Car to prepare the capsules for them to sleep. Car really prepares Barrow's capsule and his capsule, but he doesn't pay attention to the device. He got a warning signal because the voltage was too high. He went to prepare the pills he took before he went to sleep. He was getting younger and told Car that he felt that he would meet him soon. Car told him to leave because he had work to do. Car was shocked to see that the capsule was burned and the fire was everywhere. Car went to the bathroom and told Barrow to go out quickly. He brought the fire extinguisher and started to extinguish the fire. Barrow kept yelling at Car and said that he was confused. If you had noticed, it wouldn't have happened. They kept fighting. They didn't notice that the oxygen in the cell was about to run out. Carl apologized to Barrow and started thinking about how to fix the burnt capsule. Suddenly, the electricity stopped in the cell and the oxygen started to run out. Barrow and Carl went to the main room to find the fuel tank's room. They had to open it before the oxygen in the cell ran out and they were in trouble. They opened it and found the corridor that leads to the room that contains the fuel tank. They opened it and the oxygen returned to the cell. The electricity was still on. They felt that this was the end of their lives and that they would die. Carl confessed to Barrow and said, I'm married and I have 3 children. But the electricity is still on. Barrow and Carl feel that this is the end of their lives and that they will die. Barrow confesses to Carl and says, I am married and have 3 children, but the people in charge of the cells took them and separated us. And I don't know where they are now. They talk to the electricity and the energy goes back to work in the cell. And they are very happy. Carl suggests that they go and get a new capsule from the emergency room in the cell. The second one is next to their cell. They are really scared to open the door and let the air into their cell. But in the end, they made their plan smart and found a new capsule. Then they went back to the cell again. Barrow is the one who took the new capsule for him. He goes into the capsule to sleep, but he hears a strange voice. He asks Car to make sure that the oxygen has started to leak. Car goes to the device to make sure, but Barrow is shaking and the capsule is stuck on his body. Barrow was trying to get out of the capsule, but he couldn't move at all. When Car comes, he is shocked when he sees him. He cuts the capsule and takes Barrow out of it. Car apologized to him because he left and did not make sure of it. And he was upset with him and did not talk to him anymore. Then they were warned that the oxygen reserve would last for an hour and it would end. So they kept thinking about getting another capsule at this time. He suggested to Carr that they take out one of the people who were stuck in the capsules and kill him to take the capsule. Carr first refused to help him and refused the idea. And he said it is impossible to bring a person to live with us. But when the time started to decrease and there was no other way to live, he agreed to Barrow's suggestion and went to prepare the drug that the person would use after they took out the capsule and then killed him. Suddenly, Eva appeared and told him that she did not agree to help Barrow in the murder of Dee. There is another way you can get it on the cover of the capsule. She told him the way and Carl. We can kill a person with a single shot. We can get a new capsule. Barrow gets angry at Carl and starts hitting him, but in the end he agrees. He goes to the main room and finds in the control device that there is another capsule close to them other than the capsule they went to before they can take the capsule cover from him. But to get out of this way to the capsule, they must get out and get exposed to the polluted air. Carl has to force himself to get out of the capsule to get the capsule cover, and indeed, Carl gets out of the capsule and he is wearing a suit. He starts walking in the corridors under the ground and sees things flying in the blue air, and this indicates the complete pollution in the air. Carl starts walking, but Bo is the one who is indicating the place through the cameras and the wireless device. Carby reaches the door of the cell, which is close to them, so he knocks on the door with force, but no one opens it. Carby runs because no one opened the door, and it is supposed that each cell has 2 guards like them. Carby tells Barrow to go from the back door to the cell. You will find the ventilation hole, enter from it. Carby hesitates to enter because he has phobia of the dark and narrow windows, but in the end Barrow convinces him to enter. Carby also enters the ventilation hole, so he runs that the prison was empty and no one was living there. He started talking to Barrow and told him that all the people who were there were deceived and that all the prisons near us were destroyed. He told him that we are the only ones who are still alive until now and that all the people who are dead are the ones who are still alive. And they were on the ground and the one under the ground died. Then Carr decided to go back to their cell because he didn't find anything in that cell and all that was there was destroyed and broken. Carr reached their cell but Barrow refused to open the door and raised his gun in his face. Carr was shocked and asked him, "Why are you doing this?" Barrow replied that I turned the cameras and saw you a little while ago before you were shot. You were taking the gun and you tried to kill me. Carr was trying to defend himself and he said, "You understand the matter wrong. I was defending myself not to kill you." But Barrow wasn't convinced with his words and he didn't open the door and said tells him to stay outside until he dies. Now, Eva appears and leads Carl to the secret passage to enter the prison. Carl actually manages to enter the prison through a secret passage and he enters and removes the real thing. Then, Carl comes and tries to shoot Carl with a gun. But Carl manages to escape and hides in a room from the crowd. Carl starts talking to Carl and tells him not to kill him because he is the last human being alive. But Carl does not care and continues to search for Carl until he escapes and goes to the medicine room. Eva appears and asks Carl to the bathroom to check it out, and he also pretends that he can't find his dad in any room in the bathroom. Suddenly his dad appears in the bathroom and he goes to 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 the. He looks at the camera and says, "Why are you doing this?" And suddenly, Eva appears. So, he says, "We will meet soon." Here, Barrow is shocked and says, "No one is with us in the place." "Who are you talking about?" He takes out Eva's picture and gives it to Barrow to see it. At this moment, he takes advantage of Barrow's picture and attacks him and runs away from him. Barrow goes to the capsule room and finds a girl sleeping in a capsule similar to the one in the picture. So, he starts threatening Carr and says, "Go out if you don't want to kill her." Suddenly, Carr attacks Barrow from behind and hits the wall in his head. And here, the poison begins to walk in Barrow's body until he falls to the ground and dies. Then, Carr returns to the main room and prepares it to sleep. Carr begins to enter the main room and starts to fight. Suddenly, Carr attacks Barrow from behind and hits the wall in his head. And here, the poison begins to walk in Barrow's body until he falls to the ground and dies. Then Carr goes back to the main room and prepares it to sleep. Carr begins to enter the capsule and he is sad for Barrow's only friend. And he remembers the chess game they used to play together. And after 2 years, we see the capsules and they start to open. And we know that Carr is the one who opened them and he is the one who took out Eva and killed her. Finally, we know that Carr was desperate because there was no solution to clean the air from the gas. And in the end, he killed his wife and died together. This is the end of the movie. See you in a new summary. Thanks for watching.